All right, hey everyone, it's Daniel and Brian. As you may have noticed, this episode's a lot shorter and there was no intro music. We wanted to just pop on here and let you all know that we're going to be taking a hiatus. We're not sure when or even if we're going to be back, but we need to take some time off to kind of figure out where we want to go with the podcast, and also just to take some time with our own like personal and spiritual lives to sort of put in effort there that we've been sort of taking away and putting into the podcast. So I don't know, I'm kind of rambling here, but Brian, you have anything you wanted to say?
I mean, you brought up a lot that I was thinking about. Just to kind of follow up with that, Daniel and I belong to a house church that we started about, three and a half years ago?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And we are still fine-tuning everything in there. And so I think that's something that we want to focus on as well.
Yeah.
I guess, just a kind of a weird transition here and a weird kind of topic change. But as I think about what this podcast is and what we've been trying to accomplish, I think that's a good idea to kind of talk about what we've been trying to accomplish with this podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And for me, it's been a lot about, how do we view the world around us from a biblical lens. And I just want to encourage anybody who's been listening to this podcast, or anybody who picks it up in the future, if it's still out there in the ether, really plug into a truly Bible believing congregation, because you can't imagine the weird roads that you might go down if your leadership in the congregation that you attend is either not solid or not teaching the correct, things out of the scriptures. Yeah. And I don't know about you, Daniel, but for me, when I try to look at the world through a biblical lens, I feel as though I have a better understanding of life and the world around me. Things make more sense. They're not always things that make me happy, but they make more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense because, at least speaking for myself, I sort of understand why things are the way they are. I understand why certain things happen, why certain things don't happen. Like, it all makes sense when you view it through, like, the sovereignty of God. Right. And that God is creator and he has an order to things, Yeah,
I would agree with that. And that is, you have to understand it from that perspective to make any sense of the world around us. Multiple conversations that I've had in the past with people that don't have solid, biblical foundations. A lot of it's why. Why does this happen? Why do these things kind of happen? In fact, one of the episodes that we were toying with doing in the future was a episode on, the top 10 reasons that people are leaving religion. It was funny because the article that we found was leaving religion, but it was really just leaving Christianity.
Yeah, all 11 topics, because it was actually 11, not 10.
Right.
But all 11 of them were talking about Christian beliefs. And
and the sad thing that I realized pretty quickly in reading the quotes from people who were leaving the church today, it was all about unanswered questions. It was all about a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And, that's something that I hope that we have at least provided a little bit of in these last, I don't know, how many episodes did we do? A little over 20 episodes?
I think 23 or 24.
Yeah, so 24 episodes of modern events, that at least when we recorded them, I really hope that people were able to gain a better understanding of things around them and how the Bible can actually relate and has something to say about everything that happens around us.
Yeah, like Brian said, the reason why we started doing this in the first place was because both of us are passionate about understanding our world through a biblical lens, and then we wanted to sort of help get that out there for all of you who've been listening. And, just you brought up that article. I think it was like an MSNBC article or something. One of the reasons is really sticking in my head right now. It was this kid. He was in, I don't know if it was Sunday school or Catholic school or what, but he asked a nun, like, where God comes from. I think, right? That was the question. And, like, she couldn't answer. She's like, oh, well, ask him when you see him.
Yeah, when you get to heaven or whatever.
Yeah, which goes back to your point earlier, how making sure you're in a a church, a body of believers who has solid theology and good leaders and teachers is so important, because if you're in a place like that, there's no way you're going to grow spiritually.
No. And the other thing that I really want to emphasize is community. We've been doing this podcast, Daniel and I, it's two people. We've been talking to you guys, in the best way that we can here. But I think that the thing that helps both of us grow and stay in our walk and in our faith is being a part of a biblically motivated Bible Foundation group, right? Of people that we can come together with and hang out with, or even talk to in times of need. And
definitely, yeah,
that makes such a huge difference.
You just got off the phone with someone who was like, "Hey, man, I need to talk." Because you have that biblical community, and
that isn't the first time that's happened. And I'm hoping that it won't be the last. Not because people need to help or help need, but just because I want people to know that as part of the church, we're supposed to be there for each other.
Yeah,
and as long as we're here in this life, we're gonna have hard days.
Yeah,
and so it's so important to be part of a community. It's not okay to just disappear. You can't do Christianity on your own.
No, you can't.
No. Other than that, I had a good time for the most part. I learned a lot doing this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
It took a lot of effort. How many hours do you think you spent in a given week?
Oh my gosh. When we first started, it would take me sometimes up to 7 hours to edit one episode.
And that was just on the editing side.
That was just editing.
That wasn't even show prep.
Yeah, the prep was, at least 4 or 5 hours. Recording was like a couple hours. It's a lot of effort that goes into to each episode.
That actually brings up a good point. Daniel and I are toying with the idea of possibly changing the premise from modern events to something else.
Yeah, we don't really know what, but just like sort of a different direction.
Yeah, and if you guys are hearing this, you guys think, hey, I've been listening to you guys for a little while now, and I think you'd be really good at X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Shoot us an email. Send us an email at TheBibleSpeaksPodcast@gmail.com.
TheBibleSpeaksPodcast@gmail.com. We're still going to check it. We'll still keep tabs on that. Same with the social medias.
Yeah, if you guys think, hey, these guys would be really good, or I'd be interested to hear them talk about, whatever.
Yeah.
Let us know, and maybe that'll help us formulate what our future podcasting might be.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you guys are listening from, but, I just mentioned social medias. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube, right? Those are the three?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now. Plus the email, that's always a good place to reach out. We'd love to hear from you guys. And also, like, for those of you who do listen, because we can see, like, how many downloads we get for each episode, I just want to say thank you. I do hope that we come back, but, like Brian said, we're not sure if that's going to happen. We just sort of need to take a step back and kind of reevaluate things right now. But I just want to say, again, thank you so much for your support and for your listening and your encouragement. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we enjoyed being able to impart any kind of knowledge or wisdom or insight into anybody's lives that might have been listening. So thank you for the opportunity to let us speak into your life.
Yeah. So you have anything else you want to say, Brian?
No, I think that wraps it up for me.
All right. So if there is a next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. If there is a next time.